Welcome, everybody. We appreciate you being here with us tonight. This is Community Engagement, re-engaging the whole family. Tonight, we'll be talking about exploring possibilities and setting expectations for the future. My name is Chris Gause. I am a PA Family Network family advisor in Mercer County. And I will stop sharing for one moment so you can see me. I live in Mercer County, like I said, with my husband and our son, who has Down syndrome, and he is about 10 years old, going on 11, and the light of our life. So Ernie, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Ernie Roundtree. I am a PA Family Network family advisor from Monroe County in the Pocono area. And I live independently, and I'm a person with disabilities.
Wonderful. Do you want to do your breathing technique?
So, yes. So before we get this whole thing started, we are going to take a moment to do some breathing exercise, just to release whatever day you guys are going through. So deep breath in. Exhale. Release whatever is going on, your hard day, and getting ready for the next. Inhale again. Very good. And exhale. So welcome, everyone. We thank you for being with us tonight. So who is the PA Family Network? The PA Family Network is a program of Vision for Equality, an organization started by two moms with daughters with Utilize the System. Vision is an advocacy organization and promotes empowerment of families and individuals living with disabilities. The PA Family Network is a perfect fit in their organization. Our program is funded by ODP, but the more important is that all of our materials is vet by ODP. We are also able to ensure that our information is timely and adequate. Our family advisors are spread across the Commonwealth and are diverse in regards to age, diagnosis, life stage, and relationships to their loved ones with a disability. We are fortunate to have 3 family advisors who are bilingual and 2 that are siblings. Our other advisors have loved ones who are just entering kindergarten and some who are adults. This offers a great connection to families across the state, no matter what life stage they are in.
Yes. And another point is that all of our advisors are either current Life Course ambassadors or they are taking the course in order to become Life Course ambassadors. And this is really important because ambassadors have an enhanced skill set to use the Charting the Life Course framework, methods, and tools. And we'll talk about some of those tonight. And we are not afraid to think outside of the box to find solutions to problems or concerns that families across the state have. Our families' life experiences will actually, our family advisors' life experiences will actually lead to better connections than a geographical region. So as Ernie said, we bring all of that knowledge and experience with us when we are working with families. And those experiences range from medically complex to transition age to looking for employment and other areas. So we offer support across the lifespan to the families that we work with. What PA Family Network does is workshops such as this for families and persons with disabilities. We offer technical assistance to the Office of Developmental Programs and other programs across the state. We mentor families and their loved ones and can do team mentoring with whoever the family thinks is or considers their team, so that we are helping to facilitate great conversations and potentially them thinking outside of the box in order to create great visions for a good life for the person with the disability. We also help families and those people go through systems navigation and understand it, and really developing and identifying supports and services as we help them with that life course framework and their portfolio. So why do we do this? I want to read this quote because this essentially talks about what exactly or why exactly we want to do this for families. For individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities, the role of family is unique and often central in the support and care provided across the lifespan. Family members play key roles in identifying and securing opportunities for their family members to participate in meaningful ways within their community and ensuring access to self-determined lives. That was a quote from the Wingspread report, which came from the Wingspread conference that was held back in 2011. And its intent was to build a national agenda for supporting families that have a family member with an intellectual or developmental disability. The national community of practice for supporting families grew from that initiative, and Pennsylvania joined that in 2016. We were established once Pennsylvania joined that to help families really have a voice across the state.
So it's time to re-engage. The pandemic dramatically impacted on our opportunities to be with one another and engage in our communities. For the past 2 years, we experienced lockdown, isolation, social distancing. When we did go out, talking through masks and engaging with others, wow. I mean, most likely through technology, we were staying in contact with each other.
Yep.
The pandemic took a big toll to everyone in different ways, and it caused everybody to worry, have a lot of stress, fear. What is it to, be isolated at home by yourself? Grief and loneliness. Now finally we can re-engage and be safe. Re-engaging brings opportunities to not only engage in roles and activities that we were in prior to the pandemic, but also try new things, meet new people, engage in work, studies, and etc.
And I forgot to mention, and I should have said this from the beginning, we do have Spanish interpretation. If you do need it, it should be at the bottom of your screen, the little interpretation button. You can click that and select Spanish, and you will hear the Spanish equivalent of what we are presenting tonight. So as Ernie said, we really need to re-engage in all areas of our lives, and people across the country are doing that. Whether that's going to the library or being outside and meeting up with people and friends and family outside, or even taking a new class. We want to re-engage in the things that we know that we enjoy, But it's also a wonderful time to think about new possibilities for yourself and for your loved ones that you may not have thought about trying prior to the pandemic. So let's stop for a moment and think about this question. Where are you and your family members at with re-engaging? You can type into the chat and I will read them out anonymously. Are there challenges? Do you have challenges with re-engaging within your community and within your lives? Or are you going about your day and being in the community like nothing happened? Go ahead and add that into the chat and we will read them out. Arnie, did you re-engage within your community?
Absolutely, I did. Once the church started opening up again, we started going in person. We were outside, but we were re-engaging without my church families. And then Special Olympics started again. So I was very joyful when that got started
Sure
again.
you were. We are slowly re-engaging in my area. My son is immunocompromised, so we are taking it slow and making sure that we don't want him to get sick. So we do a lot of stuff, like Ernie said, outside. We are doing some things inside with scouts and that, but not as much as we probably could be doing. Anybody else want to share anything? All right, I'm going to move on. Have you thought about new possibilities or tried anything new? And same open discussion. If you want to add into the chat, we would greatly appreciate it. Is there anything since the pandemic that you have tried that is something new that you hadn't done before? We'd love to hear about it. For our family, we started taking up hiking and go on a lot of hikes in a lot of different areas that we can travel to, and we absolutely love it. Ernie, is there something new that you've tried besides Special Olympics?
Well, traveling is one, because I love to travel.
Yeah.
And, first time in a while in the airport was just, wow.
Yeah.
Overwhelming.
So you've actually flown?
I've actually flown to Louisiana to see my friend down there.
Wonderful. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on. I don't have anything in the chat.
So now let's talk about some strategies to help with re-engagement. That includes things like possibilities, positive expectations, and charting the life course tools.
So let's start with the idea of possibility. Think in terms of possibility, and this may have, there has been so much struggle in what we've done with the pandemic that now it's really time to focus on the possibilities for us and our family members, and maybe consider things that your family member, you or your extended family want to do, that you wanted to do prior to the pandemic that you never did. And you can try brand new things that you may not have thought about until the pandemic hit and you started wondering what it would be like to do some of those things. My son started tennis during the pandemic. So it was something that it was a possibility for him. We had never thought about it prior to, and he loved it. So we thought that was a great opportunity for him. He also started cooking and doing different things within our kitchen, which I thought was great for him. And maybe in the future, we will start a cooking class with him or have him take a cooking class, or invite other people over to enjoy his cooking once he's actually made something. But keep the best of yourself in your life as you are thinking about those new possibilities, and reinvent the rest by looking at new possibilities. So we have a poll that we're going to run just real quick. It's just a yes or no. And I can't do two things at once. So there, it's launched. We just want to know, have you tried something new since our communities have reopened after COVID has been here? So if you can say yes or no, that would be really great. I would appreciate it. There's also an answer of I haven't yet, but you're thinking about it. Wonderful. So it looks like we have answers of I haven't yet, but I'm thinking about it, and yeses. Nobody has said no, that they have not tried something new, which I love. That's great. So Ernie, do you have a story that you'd like to share about something new that you've tried?
Yes. Well, during the pandemic, I am into the essential oils of aromatherapy. So the whole time that I was isolated and didn't have nowhere to go, I did some essential oils to keep me calm, to help with my sickness when I didn't feel good. And then I was thinking, what can I do with them? So I made homemade lotions from scratch. Had to find the ingredients of it, and I went on Pinterest and YouTube.
Wonderful. I'm betting they smell really good, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And they help with, calming us down or whatever they may be used for. So that is great. All right. So your expectations, let's think about those now. This quote by Les Brown is, "No one rises to low expectations." And we have to think about possibilities that our possibilities are impacted by our mindsets. We need to consider our mindset as we're going through this, and the way that we think about ourselves, the world, and what we offer to others, or what we can learn ourselves, or what we can do. And all of us have experienced times where we've had low expectations for ourselves. And because someone had a higher expectation for us, we did something that we never thought that we could do, or that we didn't think was possible. So is there anybody that wants to type in the chat of something that you didn't think that you could do, but you surprised yourself by doing? I will give an example for myself of me not having very high expectations, and someone else having higher expectations of me. Is just in our immediate family, my son and my husband, when we go hiking, we absolutely go for as long as we possibly can. And there are times that I don't think I could make it back. And they are my cheerleaders, and they know that we can do it. And they coach me all the way through. It's great. Someone said that they started to make scarves. That's awesome. And I bet you're good at it. Anybody else want to share something that they didn't think that they could do and surprised yourself by being good at?
Crocheting.
Yeah.
Crocheting, I stopped and then did it again, and then stopped it again, and then did it again. I'm still a challenge, but the project will be done.
Good, great. I'd love to see one of your crocheted projects. So we also have times in our lives when others have lower expectations for us, and how those low expectations have impacted us really makes a difference in what we can do for ourselves. We need to think and have that positive mindset and have high expectations for ourselves or for our family members, and make sure that others don't have too low of expectations for them so that they rise to the potential. An example of me someone having lower expectations for myself is some of the teachers that I had. Now, it was a long time ago, but some of the teachers that I had in middle school and high school did not have as high expectations as I had for myself. And, you know, when it's a teacher, you really think, can I do this if they have that expectation of me? And it really made me wonder whether I could do things, or, you know, whatever that class it was, whether I could actually handle it and pass it with good grades. And I did. So I changed their expectation of me, but it did make me question whether I could do it. So just like this quote on the top says here, if you believe it will work out, you will see opportunities. If you believe that it won't, you will see obstacles. So having those high expectations, making sure that if it's for us or for our loved ones, that we believe that it will happen, we will see the opportunities to help make it happen. If we don't think that it will, we will see those obstacles that will cause issues and problems along the way. And Wayne Dyer said, refuse to allow yourself to have low expectations about what you're capable of creating. Such a powerful quote, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I inadvertently muted myself. I am so sorry. When we are thinking about new possibilities, we need to start with expectations. And if you're looking at this chart here, you can see that expectations and experiences are a cycle. Those possibilities start with expectations that we may have for ourselves, and they're formed early and over time. And they're also influenced by opportunities and the supports that we have available to us. And those expectations that we have for ourselves shape the experiences that we have. That's what I just said, right? If someone has lower expectations of us, we may question what our experiences can be. But if we have high expectations, our experiences will be better and we will see those opportunities. And then experiences also can shape the expectations that we have for ourselves and for our loved ones. So we want to make sure that we're listening to this and we're thinking about this and we are changing our mindset to be open to new possibilities. And this is a research from Eric Carter. And on this slide, he's got a great quote. He was a professor at Vanderbilt University, and his research and teaching focuses on evidence-based strategies for supporting access to the gen ed curriculum and promoting value roles in schools, work, and community settings for kids and adults with intellectual disabilities, autism, and multiple disabilities. And this quote, again, is really powerful, and I will read it for you. Research shows the most powerful force in changing transition outcomes for young people with significant disabilities is not ultimately found in the transition plans we craft, the educational services we offer, the instruction we provide, or the systems we build, but rather in the expectations, those high expectations and aspirations individual parents hold for their sons and daughters.
So let's look at the life course framework, tools to plan, problem solve. The life course framework is very helpful and offers tools and strategies to re-engage. And I like this look of the course belief. All people in their families have the right to live, love, work, play, pursue their life's aspiration. This is true for everybody, no matter what age we may be.
So what is the life course framework? It puts the person at the center, no matter what. and whoever that the life course framework may be working for. And they're surrounded by their family or those that they consider family. It looks at where they spend their time, whether that is a job or school in daily life and employment, if they have friends and what they're doing when they're with their friends, and they have a faith community and social and spirituality. And safety and security is the red section, and that's making sure that they are safe in all that they are doing in all aspects of their life. Community living is where they choose to live within their community and whom they may live with, and how they use transportation within their community to get the things that they want to do. Healthy living is about making sure that we remain healthy and that we have I lost my train of thought. I am so sorry. That we remain healthy and that we are eating, our nutrition is good, that we are taking medication if we need it, that we are exercising as we need to. And citizenship and advocacy is speaking up for ourselves, advocating for ourselves, exercising our right to vote, making sure that we are within our community as much as we can be, and doing the things that we want to do. And surrounding that is what Life Course calls the 3 buckets. And this is really about what families need and support, whether that is discovery and navigation, or learning about a new diagnosis, or finding information that would be helpful, connecting and networking with family, friends, peers, or with professionals, and goods and services that would be available to them where they live, that would help them in their support of their loved one. And finally, it takes into consideration those supports that we can access within our lives, in our communities, whether that's our own personal strengths and assets, the relationships that we have, the technology that we can use, the areas or things that we can access within our community, or items that are eligibility specific that we need to meet some criteria for in order to access. We make sure that we are looking at all aspects of those in order to have a good, fulfilling life. So next, we're going to talk about a vision. And we just want to give a couple of quotes here. A vision, these are different quotes about visions. It is the act of seeing, I'm sorry, I'm reading off the wrong slide too. Imagining what does not exist yet. A vision can be imagining what does not exist yet. Or it can be the ability to perceive something that's not actually visible through mental acuteness or foresight. It is the force of the power of imagination. Life Course really begins with a vision. So what do we mean by that? Directly what's in these quotes. And Helen Keller said, I would be truly blind if I did not have vision. And she was blind, but she still had things that she wanted to do, and she accomplished so much within her life. A vision is also the act of seeing things invisible, or a clear mental picture of what could be fueled by the conviction that it should be. And last but not least, Les Brown said, shoot for the moon, and if you miss, you will still be among the stars. So if we have those high expectations and we are reaching for visions that we want for ourselves or for our loved ones, even if we don't hit truly on that exact vision, we will get close and we will get to somewhere that we want to be, more so than just staying stagnant. So why is it so important to have a vision? That vision is like creating a dream. It's our hope, our goals for the future, a positive expectation of what we have or what we want as we move forward in life. And if we don't have a vision, then we won't have an expectation of what that future may look like, or someone else may determine what our future is going to look like. They may determine what their vision is for us, and we may not like what they have or what they think should happen. So perhaps your vision for yourself changed throughout life based upon your experiences as you grew and learned more about your choices, your likes and dislikes. But you can still change your vision as you're moving forward. And that vision is like a destination. Think of it, if you're, like Ernie said earlier, if he wants to travel, you have a destination in mind. That vision is that destination. And without it, we don't know where we're going to end up, or we may just wander throughout our area and what we're doing, or not move forward at all. All right, we're going to take a quick brain break. I've given you lots to think about with a vision. I'm going to say let's go for about 3 minutes. And if you need to get up, stretch, you need to run to the restroom, whatever you choose to do, totally fine. Let's meet back here at 7:12, if you don't mind. And I want you to think about your visions, what you may have for visions for yourself as you're taking that quick break. Okay, I gave us an extra minute because I was writing something down. So hopefully you guys thought as you took that quick break about visions that you might have for yourself and how you can help re-engage within the community. And I'm going to read this quote from Leonard Sweet. The future is not something that we enter. The future is something that we create. And creating that future requires us to make choices and decisions that begin with a dream. So as we're re-engaging within our communities, it's really time now to envision new and exciting possibilities based on those positive expectations that we have for ourselves and for our loved ones. It's important to have that vision for the future. And it's like having a target to aim at so that we can think of new things that we may want to do. So I asked you to think about it while you were on break. If you could put in the chat what a vision that is that you have for a good life for yourself. I would love to read them. For myself and my family, we have a vision for a good life of traveling as much as we possibly can. We have ways that we've thought about doing that, but we like to camp. So we are traveling as many different areas that we have not been to yet so we can explore new places. Ernie, do you have something, a vision for yourself? You are muted, Ernie. Were you talking away? Okay, I'm going to go on while you figure out how to unmute. Health, somebody said health, choice, and control. And they want laughter in their life. Someone said they have a vision to re-engage their son with his community through supported employment. That's great. That's a new vision for something that has happened since the pandemic. That's great. All right, Ernie, now you can share.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
My vision is to go back to school to be a massage therapist. Been doing it since I was 9 years old. You know, reflexology is one of my favorite points during the pandemic that I done for myself. But going back to school, what are the questions are, what are the challenges that I'm going to be facing? What classes, what help I'm going to need.
Yeah. Someone else said that they want more laughter in their life. That's a great vision. Awesome. All right. So as we're thinking about what we want in our life or that vision that we want, we need to take into consideration what we don't want. And just as quickly, if you think of something that you don't want, if you could add it into the chat, I would greatly appreciate it. For myself, when I was younger, I was in the hospital. So I don't want illness for myself or for my family members. We don't want to be ill. Ernie, do you have something?
Sure. One of the things I don't want is people not to be happy. I want everybody to be happy.
Right. Someone said they don't want to be stressed about the future. They don't want isolation or financial insecurity. Those are great. Loneliness. I don't want to be lonely. I can be alone, and I like to be alone because the house is usually quite loud, but I like to be alone, but I don't want to be lonely and not have anyone here. All right. So as we're considering those visions or creating those visions for ourselves, we need to make sure that we include all aspects of our lives that are important to us. And I mentioned these earlier during the Life Course framework. Life Course calls these life domains, and they are daily life and employment, or where we spend the majority of our time, school, employment, volunteering, whatever. Community living, social and spirituality, healthy living, safety and security, and citizenship and advocacy. We want to make sure as we're building those visions that we are thinking about all of these different life domains. And when we're re-engaging within our communities, we think about them as well. So we can look at daily life and employment and how we're spending our day. Are we re-engaging with work or doing new volunteer possibilities? Are we getting back to school, whether that's in, public school, or in college classes? Are we doing that in person, or are we still doing it virtually? Are we potentially learning new skills that would help us to do the things that we want to do? Community living looks at the housing options, our housing and living options that we may have available to us that may have changed since COVID started, or house the home adaptations or modifications that may need to happen since we are at home more often, or as we start to re-engage outside of our homes. And it also looks at transportation and what transportation looks like now that we have to think about whether we're masking or not masking, and how close we can sit to one another, and all of those aspects. Social and spirituality is really about the relationships that we have, whether that's with friends or family, colleagues at work, neighbors, our personal networks. It also looks at leisure activities that we may be doing, things that are happening within our community that may be outdoors, that now that it's getting colder, it's a little harder. But that we can still participate in, where we may not need to be close to one another. And of course, takes into consideration our faith communities and how they are doing things and what they are participating in, so that we can re-engage in those if we want to. Healthy living is really about nutrition, fitness, wellness, emotional and physical wellness, behavior, all of those aspects of our lives, and what we can do for re-engaging within our community to make sure that we are still healthy. Maybe we're exercising at a local gym or outdoors in a local park that a lot of people access that's close to you. Safety and security is the legal rights and knowledge of the community and the neighborhood that you have that is around you. Networks of people who know you, maybe some technology, whether that's computers, tablets, mobile phones that you can utilize to connect with people virtually. This also takes into consideration assistance with decisions, whether that's supported decision-making or guardianship, and what is best for your family and your loved ones. And then engagement and advocacy is being a good citizen. Like I said earlier, whether we are exercising our right to vote or volunteering within our community, being an advocate for the things that we need in our lives, or that others, that our friends and family may need also. Maybe a member of your advocacy group, or maybe you are a member of an advocacy group and you advocate that way. A lot of different aspects that you can think about there. So this is the life course tool called the Vision and the Trajectory. And everything that we've just covered in that vision is right on the right-hand side here, outlined in yellow. What I want and what I don't want. And that is the vision for a good life on the top part. And then making sure that we take into consideration what we don't want. And the icons along the bottom represent life stages and shows that life course is applicable to all, no matter what stage of life they're in. These documents and this philosophy can be used in all aspects of your life. And these tools are helpful for anyone, like I said, no matter what age they are. And as we talk about re-engaging within the community, we can create visions in these blocks that will help us to do exactly that. So the left side of this is the arrow pointing up towards our vision, and that's called the trajectory. and we put experiences that we have had or that what we need to have in order to reach that vision or that goal that we have for re-engaging in the community. So the dotted line along the bottom too is where we put experiences that we don't want to have or that may lead us on a path of what we don't want in our lives. So just another quick open discussion here if you want to add it into the chat. If you want to share a vision that you may have to re-engage within your community and an experience that you may need in order to get there. So for myself, one of the things that we have started to re-engage within our community is really getting back into our scouting programs and doing a lot of things for that. And it looks a lot different now because we need to take into consideration how many people are there and what we're doing, where we're meeting at. So all of those are the experiences that we can put on that straight line, shooting up towards our vision of re-engaging with our scouting community. Ernie, do you have any vision that you want to re-engage in the community that you have experiences for? You've talked about becoming going back to school to become a massage therapist. This is where I think you had started to talk about some of the experiences before.
So the experience that, you know, I've had with that started when I was 9.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was my great aunt that I would do a rub and alcohol massage in the feet. No.
Yeah.
So what is it really like for this? We started Special Olympics back and running. And at first during the pandemic, we had to be virtual, do things virtual. How we was gonna get through this, what are we gonna do, you know, how we're gonna get, you know, medals and ribbons in them. Now we're re-engaging. We are now competing in person now. And happy to see our friends. And it still gotta get through the new normal, but we'll get through it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's great that you're able to compete now, though, in person and be able to see all of the people that you know through Special Olympics. So someone's added into the chat that they are meeting regularly with their friends out in the community. And another person said their community theater has started back up. They've started a family game night. And their child now, awesome. Their child now loves bingo. And they are looking for more opportunities to play games socially within their community. That's great. I love that story.
That is wonderful.
Right? I think that's great. All right. So another life course tool that we have available to us is the one-page profile. And this can be really helpful for re-engaging within the community. And if you think about questions for yourself that you can share with other people who are open to what you need and want to be supportive, the areas of this one-page profile are what people like and admire about you, how what is most important to you, and how best to support you. And re-engaging in the community, how best to support you would be really, really helpful for some people to make sure that if they needed to stay further away from other people, they could write that there. And then they could share this page with people that they're meeting up with so that others know not to get too close to them. Or if they need more help in being able to go places, whether that is through transportation or just getting the energy to be able to go to a different place, they can utilize that and be able to give it to people that may be able to help them with that. Ernie, do you have anything that you want to add on the one-page profile?
Well, just reaching out to the persons that is in your lives.
Yeah.
Uh,
Which would be great. That can be under what's most important to you and how best to support you. Would be, that both of that could be listed under both of those categories, because people are important, but they can also support you in the way that you need.
Absolutely.
So the last tool that we're going to talk about is the integrated support star. And it's really a variety. It looks at a variety of supports that we all use in our daily lives. No matter who we are and what we're doing, we have different sources of supports that we can access within our lives, whether that's the relationships that we have or the technology that we use, the things that are available to us within our community that we can access or go to, our own personal strengths and assets, or eligibility-based supports and services that may be available to you. So, I mean, nowadays, look at how we are right now. We're using technology to listen in or to have this presentation tonight. There's not many people that don't use some form of technology. And keep in mind that it can be very, very technical, or very advanced, or it can be low tech and simple. It could be things such as an alarm clock or just a regular clock on the wall that you know what time it is to be able to meet your friends soon. Community supports is really about the places that we go, and the things that we can access within our area. Say we're meeting friends at the local coffee shop. That would be a community support. Our own personal strengths and assets are the talents and skills that we may have, our characteristics, what we do, what we're good at personally, or things that we may have or have access to. So if I use that same example of meeting our friends at the local coffee shop, am I driving there? Or can I walk? That's a personal strength, as I can walk there, or a personal asset that I'm driving there in order to meet them. And I can also put organization for myself on that personal strengths and assets, because I know that I need to be there by a certain time. So I need to give myself enough time to get there however I choose to go. And then sometimes we are eligible for certain kinds of support, whether that is if we are purchasing a specific type of support, or if we have a disability or income-based or specific life situations that may make us eligible for those supports, that would fall under eligibility-based supports and services. So for instance, if I were using that coffee shop story again, I am driving there, I'm using my personal vehicle to drive there, I need a driver's license. So I need to be eligible in order to take the driver's exam in order to get that license. A driver's license could fall into that category. If you were a student in college, financial aid eligibility would fall into that category, because not everybody is eligible for the same types of financial aid that may be available to them. So this is what the integrated support star looks like. And we're going to take a couple of minutes to fill it up. Well, I'm not going to type into it, but we're going to do some shout outs if you want to add into the chat some different areas of technology that we can access or we can have available to us in order to re-engage within our community. Anybody want to share anything out with that? What are you using to re-engage within your community that is technical? That is technology.
I would think the iPads and the iPads and Androids in them.
Absolutely. So computers, iPads, iPhones, all of that. And how would you use them to re-engage within your community? What would you do to maybe go out in your community, Ernie? What would you
One
look
of them, one of them would be reaching out to them on chat and letting them know what's going on Zoom,
Yeah,
maybe.
absolutely. So you could look up different events and share them with your friends to be able to meet. You could, whether that's through Facebook or, meetup groups or whatever the case may be. You could use your computer, your tablet, your iPhone would be technology. And then the Facebook group or events would also be technology based. So there would be two separate things there for that. You could put chatting with friends as technology, because you can use technology just like we are tonight in order to talk to your friends and be able to communicate with others. Website calendars, yeah, we can look at calendars on for libraries and other places within our community that we can access and see what's coming up that maybe we want to attend. And then that library, that where we access that calendar at, would be under the community based. So let's shift down to the community. What areas of the community that we have available to us to help us re-engage within?
The church activities.
Yep. So your church would be community based. Someone said our local parks. Volunteering within our community, so we can put all different types of volunteering places or organizations that we can volunteer at. Those would all be community-based ideas to put in there. That would let us re-engage within the community just by connecting with others that might be volunteering at that same point in time. And if we shift to personal strengths and assets along the top of that star in the lighter blue section, we can list all different kinds of things that we can use from ourselves or from our own families that would help us re-engage within the community. This could be things, like I said earlier, about my own vehicle, that I can drive to some of those activities that I found on that calendar. So my vehicle would be a personal strength. Interests in learning new things or maybe taking a class could be a personal strength. One of the things that I want to, trying new things, it would be a personal strength. Having the ability to try new things, that would be a great thing to list there. I would like to try pottery, or, throwing the clay to make pottery items. I think that would be cool. Is one of the things that I have on my list. So trying a new class. Motivation to meet new people. Someone is adding into the chat. That is great. So that would be a personal strength also. And let's move on to relationships. If we are re-engaging in our community, what types of relationships might we have or be able to use in order to re-engage? I list my family here, obviously, because when we are re-engaging within the community, we're all, most of the time, all doing it together. But I have for myself some of the people at the local park that we go to that I know I can connect with to find out different events that are happening. So I have them listed under my relationships.
My church family, well, I call them my extended families in life. They definitely will tell you what events is going on. And
absolutely. And your faith community can absolutely be your family. So that's great to put in relationships. Anyone else want to add anything in there before I move on to eligibility? Neighbors, someone said. Meeting new peers with a shared hobby, that it would be a great one. The relationships would be the peers that you are meeting up with, or finding a mentor, possibly joining a self-advocacy group. Yeah, absolutely. Ernie, you mentioned Special Olympics earlier. So your
Absolutely.
teammates, the other athletes, your coaches could be on there as relationships. All of those people that you know through Special Olympics could be listed under that. All right, last but not least, eligibility specific. So let's think about that for re-engaging in the community. I've already said the driver's license to be able to get different places, to be able to try new things maybe. What else can be eligibility based? If you belong to a gym, that membership is entitling you to be able to use their facilities. So that could be eligibility if you were wanting to exercise, maybe. Our local country club, as another example of something that you pay for, has different events that they have going on. And if we were members, we could utilize that. That would be eligibility specific. Advisory councils, absolutely. You could list PA Family Network into the eligibility specific, because we help families with the we help families that have a family member with a disability. So there is an eligibility specific criteria there. We belong to the Science Center that we can tap into that way. Community-based therapies and supports. Your support coordinator
Yeah.
or your county resources would be good under eligibility specific. They may have different events that they know about that they could share with you. Anybody have any others?
I mean, again, church,
Yeah.
church events.
Absolutely. So we belong to Scouts. I can put Scouts in there because my son has to be a certain age in order to belong to it. Ernie, you could put Special Olympics down here. Any of those types of organizations that do sports or different activities, that you have to have certain criteria in order to belong to, that
Okay.
could be listed under there as well.
American Red Cross.
Yeah.
Because I volunteered for the American Red Cross.
Yeah, absolutely.
So eligibility of volunteering and
Yep.
where can you volunteer at?
And know that that can also be a community-based resource for you as well, because they can help families that are within their community, that you don't need to be eligible in order to access them for certain things. So that can go under two different categories there, and that's okay. My son has a therapeutic riding program that he belongs to. And so we can put that under eligibility specific. So lots of different ways that we can fill this star out to utilize it, to help us re-engage in the community. And as we're filling it out and thinking about things and deciding what we are going to do to help ourselves re-engage within the community, we can look at all of the different things that we've written down to be able to pick out one or two that we may want to try first. Maybe it's 3 or 4 that you want to try first, and that's okay. And as long as you're getting out there and you're finding things that you are interested in to help you re-engage in your community, that's what's most important.
So before we wrap this things up, are there any questions that you want to ask? Put it on the chat or.
Yeah, we ask that you go ahead and add them into the chat. We will give it a second here. If you are typing, I am just going to go on to the next slide so that you can see a little additional information, but we will address your questions if I do get any to us. So we just want to point out that we do have new workshops and regional summits on services to support your vision and creating possibilities of re-engaging within our communities. And we want to let you know to stay tuned, that October and November are specifically about life sharing, supported living, and community connections that may be available. So the dates that we have them available right now are on our website. I will put that up in a minute on a future slide so that you can access that. But we do have a couple of new things that are coming out. So check that calendar often that is on our website, because as new workshops come up and regional summits become available to us that we get scheduled, we will add them out there also. And we definitely want everybody to know about it so that you can engage with us in the future. I did not get any questions, so I hope that I explained things really well and nobody was confused tonight. In closing, we want to thank you for being here with us tonight. We hope that this has helped you to recharge your mind and give you new opportunities to think about moving forward in your lives. We hope that you explore new possibilities as you re-engage within your communities and think of the visions that you want while reconnecting and reuniting with family and friends, old and new. Finally, here's our contact information where you can connect with us. I did mention the mentoring earlier. We are always available to do that. You can email us any questions that you have on anything that we've presented tonight. And our website is listed there for all of our upcoming workshops, summits, and information that you may find that you need from us. And you can connect with us on all social media platforms. We have that going and are getting started on some new ones. So look for @PA Family Network, whatever platform you use. And we hope that you register for future workshops and join us for those. Thank you very much for your time tonight.